Daniel Sports Central, we go over our March Madness game preview and prediction on the Final Four matchup between the UConn Huskies and the Miami Hurricanes. Both teams have had outstanding runs in this tournament getting to this point, and it all comes down to this. You got UConn. This is a team that has been dominant in this tournament. This team ran through their first 40 games, and they are once again in the Final Four. And they're taking on the dark horse of the tournament in the Miami Hurricanes. Miami's a team that has got a very strong resume in this tournament. This team has defied the odds throughout every round. And here we are. Miami's in the Final Four for the first time. They're taking on UConn. Winner goes to the national championship. What an insane Final Four this is. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this match here today, starting with your team trends. UConn beat Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. 82-54 was the final score. They dominated Gonzaga. And Gonzaga is a good basketball team. That is an outstanding team. And UConn made it look easy. And they really have done that this entire tournament. I mean, the way that they blew out Arkansas in the Sweet 16, they dominated St. Mary's in the second round, and obviously their huge win over Iona. I mean, UConn has just been incredible in this tournament. I mean, we saw a flash of this in the earlier parts of the season. Then this team went through a slump in the middle part of the season. Then they caught fire once again towards the end, and this team has definitely been the most dominant team in this tournament, and they're the favorite heading into the Final Four for a reason. But the Hurricanes on the other side, this team has really been impressive in this tournament. They just beat Texas 88-81. This team was down for a while there, and it looked like Texas was going to run their way into the Final Four. But Miami, in the end, came back and got a huge win. And they also knocked off the top seed in Houston, 89-75 in the Sweet 16. Also beat Indiana and Drake. I mean, this team, both teams were potential upset picks in the first round, UConn against Iona and then Miami against Drake. But, I mean, both teams have had incredible runs getting to the Final Four. Games be on Saturday, April 1st in Houston, Texas. Your tip-off is 8:49 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going with UConn here by 5. So the Huskies are favored here, and that's honestly no surprise considering how UConn has been in this tournament. This team has caught fire, and they are, I mean, this is a brutal team to beat at this point in this tournament. And UConn, yeah, this team is the favorite to win the national championship if you're looking at the Final Four teams remaining. The over-under is 149, and the BPI is going UConn as well. Even heavier here, 77%. You look at the tournament runs, we mentioned UConn, their dominance over their first 4 games. And for Miami, this team has gotten it done. They've played some tough teams. I mean, Drake was a team that I kind of liked heading into the first round. I mean, Drake was playing playing really well. I really liked them. And then they beat Indiana in the second round. Indiana, one of the top teams in the Big Ten. Houston, one of the favorites to win the national championship. And then Texas. I mean, Texas heading into the Elite Eight was definitely one of the favorites to win it all. And Miami takes them down. And here we are in the Final Four with Miami against UConn. I mean, just what an insane tournament this has been considering all the upsets that have happened. Your stat comparison, UConn averages 79 points a game. This team allows 65. Miami on the other side averages 79 and allows 72. Look at the BPI, UConn is 6 in comparison to Miami, who is 36. In notable games this season, UConn, they beat Alabama by 15. And Alabama was the number 1 overall seed in this tournament. That was a very impressive win when they beat them there. They were 1-2 against Marquette, got swept by Xavier, split the series against Creighton, and they were 2-1 against Providence. For Miami, this team beat Virginia by 2. They were 1-2 against Duke, lost to Maryland by 18, and they split the series against 2 11 seeds in this tournament in Pitt and NC State. Your key points, UConn 29-8. This team has been the most dominant team in the tournament. I mean, you look at how this team has played. I mean, when you got Adama Sanogo, who's averaging 17 points a game, I mean, this is a team that's got dominance, and offensively, they are brutal. I mean, you look at, they put up 88 against Arkansas, a strong all-around team. Gonzaga put up 82 on them, and defensively held Gonzaga to 54. Gonzaga is one of the strongest offenses in this tournament, and they only allowed 54 points to them, which is extremely impressive what they did there. Offensively, they're brutal and dangerous, and honestly, defensively, the way this team has played in this tournament, this is all around the most dangerous team remaining. And the Huskies have emerged as the national favorite. I mean, and what an insane tournament this has been. UConn being a team that you could say was slept on a bit heading into this tournament. I mean, you look at UConn's region, you got Kansas at the top, the defending champs. I mean, on the other side of the bracket, you had St. Mary's or VCU. I mean, VCU was a popular pick to go deep in this tournament. Turns out they just lost in the first round. And, of course, you got Gonzaga a little bit lower and UCLA. I mean, UConn was overshadowed for sure by the top 3 seeds in the region in Kansas, and especially you could say UCLA and Gonzaga. But UConn here, they're in the Final Four once again, and this team is looking good right now. And for Miami on the other side, Isaiah Wong, he is a true all-around threat. He's had an incredible tournament to this point, and there's a reason why the Hurricanes are here, and it's because of the balance on this team, and especially Isaiah Wong. And this team has caught fire in March Madness. This is the true dark horse of this tournament, if you consider that. I mean, you look at Miami on the other side in their region. I mean, Miami's a team where you had Houston in your region, you had Texas as well. I mean, Houston and Texas were the 2 overwhelming favorites in that region. I mean, you had Xavier, who was a 3 seed, but they weren't expected to go too far. And in the end, they lost at Texas. But for Miami, this team is, I mean, they've had an incredible run, and they're an awesome story as well. Seeing them out of the 5 seed in this region, beating Texas, beating Houston, it's been an outstanding run for them. But that said, this is going to be an incredible matchup. It's got all the makings to be that. And that said, let's get the prediction here for UConn and Miami coming up here in the Final Four. And in the end, I just like UConn too much. The way this team has played in this tournament, I see this being a high-scoring game. 84-81 is your predicted final score. And I think Miami, they're going to keep this game close. The Hurricanes, the way they've played in this tournament, they have found a way in the end of games. And they've been, I mean, in the end, they've gone up against some of the best teams in the nation, and they've played extremely well. I know they were down against Texas for a while, but the way they came back was extremely impressive, and I see Miami keeping this game close. Maybe UConn gets up early and we see kind of a dominant first half, kind of similar to that Miami-Texas game, but I do think the Hurricanes keep it close in the end. I don't see Miami getting blown out in this game. I think it's going to be close all the way, even though I will say this. I mean, the way UConn's played in this tournament, I mean, I could be wrong about that as well. I mean, UConn, this team has been dominant, so dominant in their first 4 games. We could just see them run away with it. But in the end, I'm going to be going with a close game here with UConn, getting the win in the end, 84-81. So I'm going to say 55% towards UConn. Honestly, you could say that's 60% the way that UConn's been playing. Over-under's 149, and I'm taking the over, and Miami to cover the spread in the end. And I said this in my previous prediction for the first Final Four matchup. I mean, this tournament has been so brutal to predict. I mean, the games truly are nearly coin tosses, and that's what we've seen in this tournament. This is a game that could easily go either way. I mean, UConn, you think they've been so dominant in this tournament, and they have been. But the thing is that we've truly seen some underdogs pull off some incredible wins in this tournament, especially in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 rounds. And so don't be surprised one bit if we see Miami win this game and proceed on. It would truly fit the theme of this tournament. But in the end, I'm going with UConn to win this one. Let me know your thoughts and comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.